PTSD and PTSD in teenagers. This year in my clinical practice and last year, I've seen PTSD mentioned more than any other time in my career. Now, when people think about the term PTSD, they often think of a single catastrophic event, a moment of crisis, so overwhelming that a person simply can't move past it. But PTSD is far more complex than that. So my name's Rick Cardwell, and I just want to talk a little bit about my experience of working with PTSD in relationship more to teenagers, in the hope that this video, if you're a parent and worried about a child, might just give you some insight into what may be happening for that child. Now, PTSD can develop after experience or witnessing trauma, violence, abuse, accidents, but it's not just about what happened, it's about how the mind processes what happened and sometimes how it can't process it. Now, PTSD can show up in many ways. Flashbacks that feel all too real, nightmares that disrupt sleep, a constant sense of being on edge, avoiding certain people or places, and a growing sense of isolation and aloneness that teenagers will often say that they feel. In younger people, it often looks like withdrawal, pulling away from friends, from life, from anything that feels overwhelming. And I just want to tell you about Chloe. I know I've changed the name Chloe for obvious reasons. But Chloe didn't experience one single traumatic event. She grew up in it. Her childhood was unstable from the beginning. Her parents separated when she was very young, and she watched her mother move from one relationship to another, often chaotic, very unstable, very unsafe. And as a child, Chloe tried to make sense of it. In her mind, this was her mother's way of surviving, of providing. But what she was really witnessing was a cycle of unhealthy and often abusive relationships. Now, at 8 years old, Chloe's world shifted again. She was sent to live with her aunt, an older sister, and her mother left the country with a new partner, promising that when she was settled, the children would join her. They didn't. Now, for 3 years, contact was minimal, brief, inconsistent, and very confusing. No real explanations and no sense of stability. Then, at 11 years of age, her mother returned after another relationship has broken down, again involving violence and abuse, and the cycle began again. More instability, more unpredictability, more exposure to things that no child should have to process. So when Chloe walked into therapy at 15 and was diagnosed with complex PTSD, is that really surprising? The bigger question is, how does someone like Chloe learn to trust? How does she break a pattern she's seen the whole of her life? Because here's the truth, PTSD isn't just about the event itself. Two people can go through the exact same experience and only one may develop PTSD. Well, why? Because trauma is deeply personal. It's shaped by perception, by emotional support, by age, by environment, and by whether the mind is able to process what's happened in the moment. When something's simply too much, the brain can't fully make sense of it, and that's when trauma can become stuck. For those who've never experienced it, PTSD can be hard to understand, but for those who have, it's not something you just get over. The good news is healing is possible. Therapy plays a crucial role in that process. It creates a safe space to begin processing what was once overwhelming. It helps people understand their experiences rather than avoid them. It teaches practical ways to manage triggers, anxiety, and intrusive memories. And over time, it helps rebuild a sense of safety, a sense of control, and a sense of resilience. Because PTSD doesn't have to define someone's future, if any part of this resonates with you, whether for yourself, for your teenager, or someone close to you, then reach out, ask the question, start the conversation. You don't have to figure this out alone. Modern therapies are great for understanding PTSD, for giving the right tools to deal with that, and more importantly, stop people moving into the future, pulling along these weights and these burdens that have held them back for so long. So if you want to talk to me about that, please message me, contact me through my website. I'm always happy to have a free chat about that and offer free advice and guidance, or even move into therapy. That's a personal choice. So thanks for watching this. I hope it just gives you a little bit more of an insight into what PTSD actually is and gives you a bit more understanding of how you can move forward with that.